Editing, especially features, has a lot of challenges, but one of the most challenging is keeping your mind open and being able to try to watch the movie with what we call fresh eyes. It might take me 3 days to cut a scene together. And for a brief moment of time, I think it must be perfect. Because of course, I've spent 3 days going over every edit, going over every take, thinking about how could this be better, making it better, and finally I'm done and I'm ready to show it to somebody else.
Freeze! Nobody move! Shoot! Don't move!
Okay.
But as soon as you show it to somebody else, you have to let go your original thoughts. In fact, as an exercise, if a scene isn't working, often what I do is take areas of the scene and cut them completely opposite of what I had. And that might not be the final movie either, but what it does is it forces me to look at it in a different way and to get rid of what I had. And look, we're in an Avid. We have all our copies saved. We can always go back to what we had. In order to make a great movie, it has to keep evolving. Evolving technology has been something I've had to deal with my entire career. It's incredible how fast the technology in film editing changed. When I started, most people were editing television shows on a Moviola, manually editing work print. I've always tried to keep up with it because I've always felt that it not only gives you an edge just competitively in the marketplace, but I feel like creatively it gives you an edge because for me, it's best when the technology becomes invisible. The last thing I want to think about is software version numbers or where a button is on the keyboard. In the mid-90s, I started teaching editing. And the cool thing about teaching editing is two things. One, they make you use all the new equipment. So I always knew the newest software. But secondly, you're teaching 5, 10, 20 people, and they start asking you questions. And you have to answer them. So it forces you to use things you've never, try things you've never done, use buttons you've never done. You know, why is it like this? Oh, because some people use it. I'll find out why. So it was a great way to stay on top of everything. When I agree to a feature film, when I'm lucky enough for somebody to hire me, hopefully it's really early on in the process. Usually, you know, I read the script well before they start shooting. And I like to try to read script revisions because it also gives me an idea of where the movie's heading. If you only read one version of the script, you don't know everything that everybody else knows. I've come on board when they start shooting, and a huge part of the editorial process is watching the dailies and discussing them with the director, hearing the director's thoughts, hearing what they like, hearing what they want, and also for the director to hear some of my opinions about what I think is working. And more importantly, if I think something isn't working, I try to alert them. As I always like to say, part of editing is bringing order to chaos. So the very first thing we have to do is organize our film, because if you can't find a frame or a shot, you can't cut it into the movie. So we create organizational structure, and then I start viewing the film, just try to react like an audience might. And I do try to remember those moments, so I'll jot down little notes. When you're making a movie, the length of time that it takes to actually get it to be great can be different. You know, it's the discovery process. And look, some movies go together very quickly and they're awesome and great right away. And some movies, you have to struggle to find the best version of it, which is again why I like to try to keep an open mind and to not try to label a film too early on in the process and be like, well, this could never be good. Because the fact is, although the first attempt might not be great, if you work on it, you can make them great.